I had a really nice time with you. I've missed this. Do you want to come in? Lily smiled as she looked into Kevin's eyes. Standing outside of Lily's front door, Kevin took a deep breath. I wish that I could stay with you, but there's something that I have to do. Lily pursed her perfect lips. What could be more important than you and me? Kevin stepped forward. I'm doing this so that there can be a you and me. Seeing Lily's eyes well with tears, Kevin placed his strong hand on her soft cheek. I promise that it will all make sense to you one day. Before Lily could respond, Kevin turned around and left her apartment, grasping the box containing the antique sword he just purchased. 10 minutes later, Kevin got to his apartment at Corwin Tower pretty quickly because traffic on Lakeshore Drive was so light this late at night. As soon as he got off his private elevator, he saw a shadowy figure sitting on the sofa. Who's that? Kevin's whole body suddenly tensed and he reached into his jacket to pull out the night dagger. He couldn't see who was there, but someone had broken into his home. Kevin hit the light switch, ready to take on the intruder. The Night King stood up from the couch and turned toward Kevin. That's no way to greet your mentor. Why are you so surprised? I told you I'd be here tonight, didn't I? Why didn't you tell me you'd let yourself in? I thought you were a burglar. Kevin relaxed and put his dagger away. In the 2 minutes since you came in, you've had 10 chances to see me. The Night King scolded Kevin. Have you already forgotten what I told you? You taught me to be alert and to respond firmly. Kevin didn't show any signs of weakness when he replied. The Night King nodded. You're right. Now, have you brought something for me? Kevin rubbed his head and tossed the wooden box on the floor. The Night King immediately stepped toward it and smashed it open with his foot. He quickly picked up the sword and held it up in the light. Yes, it's a decent little weapon, the Night King commented as he examined it. You haven't told me what the sword is for. Kevin had been feeling drawn to the weapon ever since he touched it at the antique shop, but it was in horrible condition, more like a piece of scrap metal. The Night King seemed to read Kevin's mind. The name of this sword is Cold Arrow. As he finished saying this, he slammed the sword against the fireplace mantel and all the rust instantly fell away. Before Kevin could react, the Night King took his hand and cut it with the blade of the sword. Kevin's blood immediately gushed out and splashed on the cold metal. What are you doing? Kevin had no idea what was going on and tore part of his shirt to stop the flow of blood from his cut. Thanks to his improved healing, the wound clotted up very quickly. This sword has been dormant for so many years. It needed some blood to wake it up. The Night King pointed towards the sword, which was now glowing the same deep red shade as Kevin's blood. Taking a deep breath, Kevin looked at his healed wound. And now that it has absorbed my blood, this sword will answer only to me. Exactly. The Night King nodded as he solemnly placed the sword into Kevin's hand. Kevin was still stupefied by this unusual ceremony. Well, may I ask what's going on? Are you sure you really want to know? The Night King stared into Kevin's eyes and asked him, Haven't you noticed anything at all strange lately? Kevin understood right away what the Night King was talking about. He put down his sword and turned toward his mentor. Something powerful is happening in Chicago. You truly are more clever than any man that I have ever met before. Tell me what you found out. The Night King walked confidently back to the sofa and sat down. Kevin started to list all the recent events that he'd witnessed. The appearance of the Myriads, the Alliance, the School for the Healing Arts, all the powerful and rich showing up in Chicago with very advanced training in herbalism and martial arts. It's like there's a storm brewing. You're right. The Night King immediately interrupted Kevin before he could finish what he was saying. It's time to let you know a few things. That way you can start preparing early. This may just save your life. The Night King spoke casually, but Kevin could tell that he was very serious. There are good and bad forces at work, and they're converging on the city. You've found your way into 3 of the organizations, but there are many more." The Night King paused for a moment while he thought about what to say next. "Sometimes, someone comes along whose entire body, right down to their DNA, is open to vast improvements." "That someone is me," Kevin whispered to himself. The Night King smiled. "For your entire life, people have recognized your potential. Frederick Finch taught you to appreciate history. Your teachers knew that you sometimes didn't put in the effort to succeed as you should have, and I saw your potential too." "Do you mean I'll be part of this battle that's coming?" Kevin asked again. "There's something unique about your DNA that's left you open to much quicker and greater changes than other people. The pills that you've been working on are more than just herbal supplements. There are chemicals in the natural world that modern chemists and drug manufacturers haven't dreamed of. You're already very different from the man you were when your friend gave you your first power pill. That's why you can heal so quickly and help others to heal too. You're unlocking your true potential." It started to make sense to Kevin. His hearing and eyesight already seemed sharper, and he'd gotten far stronger than he should have for the effort he was putting in. He definitely felt different lately. "Chicago is going to become the first battlefield of a great struggle," the Night King said thoughtfully. "We're going to fight a war." Kevin braced himself as he realized what this could mean. "It will be a difficult struggle, and there's no guarantee of victory. The forces we'll face have been underground for a long time, waiting to pounce." The Night King's face turned grim. Kevin had been wondering for a long time why so many odd things had been happening in his city. The Night King walked over to the small cocktail bar in the corner of Kevin's living room and poured himself a shot of liqueur. He took a sip and continued to explain Kevin's purpose. "Today, although science and technology are developing rapidly, the quickest way to prepare is the path that you've already taken. A lot of people are going to depend on you, and it's only going to get stranger from here on out." Kevin felt a cold shiver run through his body. "But don't worry, Kevin. Even the darkest forces that we face don't have the advantages that you do. Not even your own relatives in the Williams family. Don't forget that your DNA also comes from your mother's side of your family. You're like a sponge for the herbal concoctions you've been making and the ones that you'll be able to make. And you won't face all of this alone." The Night King let out a sigh after he said this. For a moment, Kevin felt like someone was watching the two of them, even though they were on the top floor of one of the tallest buildings in Chicago. He tried to shake off the feeling. After hearing everything that the Night King had told him, Kevin felt a little numb. No anger at what some people were planning and no joy at finding out just how different he was, just numb. The Night King was still standing in the middle of the living room while Kevin looked at the floor and tried to process all of it. Why can't both sides just talk it over? I'd hate for innocent people to get hurt. Kevin couldn't help wondering out loud.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.